This oil filler is leaking for some reason down behind it there, and behind the starter. So I have an old one here, and I'm going to make a gasket based on that, and then I'm going to take this off and have a look at it, flatten the surface there that meets with the block, and make sure it's sealing. This is the oil filler off, and there's a little gasket I've made based on the spares one, and it definitely looks like the gasket is just too squashed to seal. You can see it's coming out there in the corner, so I'm going to scratch that off, put it on a sheet of sandpaper then and flatten it, and then put a bit of Indian head, that's gloopy sealer, on both sides of the gasket then, and we should be good to go. So I'm just taking off the cap, and I'm going to give it a run with metal polish, the Dremel and that polishing head, and we'll see how we get on, just to bring it up a little bit more. Yeah, so they're cleaning up a little bit anyway, taking the dirt out of it. I suppose if you had a very steady hand, you'd be able to repaint, but there is a lot of corrosion on it. But you know what, a bit of patina is alright in my book. So there is the mating face on the block, and this is our oil filler here now with the Indian head in it. So just a matter now of lining that up and bolting it back home. Small little job, but just one less leak to be worrying about now. That's definitely not going to be able to leak out of there. So the next job is this. That's going to have to come off, and everything needs a good clean up as well, because the water pump was leaking, the petrol tank was leaking. I have that repaired, and of course dust being blown back from the fan then just stuck to it like shite to an army blanket. So usually what I do when I'm taking off a front axle is I take off these radius arms. Now I know for a fact that that lad is well and truly seized in there, and that one as well, because when I went to tighten them up there was no budge out of it at all. So I've been soaking these every time I walk past with a kind of WD-40 in my hand. So usually what I do is I take off this, I take off that, after I take off the wheels. Then I'm left with smaller parts. The track rod end, the steering arms, lift them up the other side, they're grand. Then I'm left with the cradle in there, and I'm left with this main cross beam here. Then I take out this lad and I redo the bush and the little the main pivot there, the pivot pin. Now this is a lot more awkward than the Ferguson 20, because the Ferguson 20 has bolts that go through there, whereas this is actually threaded into it. So you need to have it lined up perfectly for it to fit. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but it actually makes it a lot harder. So usually what I'll do is I'll put the jack under there and get it lined up. So all going to plan, they should come off handy. But these lads on the other Ferguson 20 in the background there, they were a serious struggle the whole way up. By God, I never forget that. It was some serious pulling and dragging and baiting. So I'll try my best to take everything apart as I plan to. If not, it's just going to be a matter of wheeling everything forward. But that really is a two-man job, because the wheels then want to go their own way, and anyway bar straight on. So I'm going to start trying to loosen things off here and see how I get on.